In this video, we talked to former professional chef turned online entrepreneur, Brian G. Johnson. With well over a decade of experience, Brian helps entrepreneurs amplify their message online. And with a thriving YouTube channel of his own, with well over 100,000 subscribers, we talk all about his most helpful tips and advice for growing an audience on YouTube.
What is a helpful piece of YouTube advice for smaller creators that you think is underutilized or underrated?
It's critically important to really understand what is most important. So imagine if you show up on the court and you practice day in and day out. You're throwing hoops, you're practicing your three-point shot, you're working with the ball, the handling, you're doing great. Every day you're out there on the court, and then the big day shows up, you have a big competition, and someone walks up to you and says, I'm not sure what you're doing out here, we're playing baseball. And I feel like a lot of creators, they focus on things that can never really help them achieve the dreams, the goals, aspirations, more views, that. So, for example, the amount of times someone has come up to me and asked me about how do I improve my delivery, I can count on both hands, and I've been doing this a long time. And I believe that's one of the most important things, which probably also scares a lot of people. But I don't have any real solid delivery skills. I can't create a powerful message, or I say and ah a lot. And that's okay. The thing I would encourage you to do is not say I can't do that, or say something like I can't do that right now, and then really move forward. And all the things really associated. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I've continued to add layers to this answer. All the reasons people love a great TV show or a great movie are the same reasons why people tune into YouTube. They like the personality, they like the storytelling, they like the editing, they like the lighting. If you're a vlogger like Peter McKinnon, then, I should say, if you're watching Peter McKinnon, then you probably have a love for great camera work, great skills in that way. And again, boy, when we talk about story, Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, the best vloggers are really great storytellers. And even educators, you can tell a story in so many ways. So I think the sooner you really ask yourself, why do I like this video? Like, I'm watching this creator, what is it about their content that I love? And you continue to ask yourself that question, and you continue to really want to prioritize what's most important, the sooner you'll get the results you're after. It's not the tags. There's so much talk about title, topic, and thumbnail and CTR. The only thing that the algorithm can understand when it looks at someone's engagement on a video, if we talk about those things, is, are they interested in the video? They haven't even watched yet. They clicked. And literally, they changed the algorithm years ago to reward, guess what, not clicks or views, but watch time, which is and this kind of wraps up the question. When I think about success and what to focus on, it's really the metrics that measure engagement. Watch time measures engagement. An end screen click. Okay, someone clicked on your video, CTR, they watched the entire video, and then they said, I like this so much, I want to watch another video from the same creator, and they clicked on your end screen. That's a really powerful engagement signal. Another one would be view duration. Another one would be these types of metrics, like I'm mentioning, are really the things to focus on, and the more you improve those, the better. And then lastly, it's kind of like what I talked about with the television shows and movies and whatnot. Really think about your editing, your sound design, your film. Like, even if you're on a phone, and I'm looking around, my phone's over here, but if you're on a phone, that's okay. But do what you can to get the very best picture possible out of the phone or the camera or whatever the case may be.
Got it. And you mentioned kind of personality in there as a part of that, and presentation on camera.
Yeah.
For a lot of creators, it feels like the camera mutes personality quite a bit, or the person gets more reserved when they get in front of that lens.
Sure.
How do you encourage creators to let more of that personality shine through on camera?
The thing I would say is, a lot of times, as far as it's hard to really get that excitement up Like when I'm around other people, I really get amplified as one of my branding messages and whatnot. But as you said, when we step in front of a camera, that can often be lacking. If that's the case, I would say literally like run around your home a few times, whether it's up and down the stairs, jump around, catch your breath, get the blood flowing, and then put yourself in a state of excitement. If you need to raise your excitement, and this is really important, I think it's the first thing I would do is say, like, what is the best charisma? What kind of energy should I have that I'm comfortable with? And what is my audience connecting with already? If you look at similar channels and the content that's being produced and doing well, and you start looking at creators, you get a sense of what works. And you might not be that bubbly, upbeat, oh my gosh, that's not me. And that's okay too. You can find a topic that does well for you, and you can find that style of delivery that might be a little bit more subdued, but there will be people that are into that too. It really just depends on the audience, and then doing your best to get in that mind space,
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say, I want to add one more thing, and this is, it's kind of like the core teaching I do, and that is, so begin by really wanting to know what is most important. And then every time you film a video, you literally, after you're done, you go back and you say, well, my audio is pretty bad. So next time I make a video, I'm only going to focus on fixing the audio. At this point, it totally eliminates overwhelm, which is a big thing with so many creators, because you're just focused on one thing. You're not trying to learn about 1,000 things, which you can if you want. You're focused on 15. And then every time you step in front of the camera, you tell yourself, look, I'm going to do a really great job with my delivery. I'm going to communicate clearly. I'm going to speak with enthusiasm. I'm going to leverage tonality. I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to say and ah. When you think that, or maybe even better, create a huge sign and put it in your filming space. And whatever you suck at, that's what you work on.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, embrace your suckage.
Yeah, I love that idea. I'm actually gonna do that in my studio now. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about doing that before,
Yeah.
but there are always little reminders. I usually keep like a Post-it note or something inside the desk I'm sitting
Yeah.
at, but I need that visual constant reminder.
Yeah,
that's super helpful.
It's funny, when I was in my last home, I had it was a huge whiteboard, like 4x6. And I remember early when I started, I did tons of keyword research that I'll talk a little bit about in my presentation today. And then after that, I erased the board and I would write messages or create kind of like fun intros, time lapses. But I got to the point where I started creating big messages, like work on your delivery or whatever. And every day you come in and you see it, and it's like, that's a reminder, that is what I need to improve.
That's great. Do you think that there's a correlation between faster growth on YouTube and frequency of uploads?
Depends on the creator. Most times, yes, because most creators that come in, and most creators that would be watching this type of content, they are not proficient in all the things. And there are so many of them. Graphic design for thumbnails, which means you have to understand how to plan things out and how to create a visually appealing graphic and balance in the graphic and color schemes. And we're just talking graphics at this point. We haven't got to editing or sound design. We haven't got to understanding camera settings. I remember when I started with a phone because I wanted to prove it to myself and to others that you can start with a phone and do great. And I did. Some of the videos I created with a phone have done incredibly well. Then I upgraded to a Canon 70D, and it started, with buying many cameras and often, as the case may be. And it took me a long time to really learn the camera settings. So again, I think when you really focus on learning all these things and you try to, constantly be improving, that's going to help. And when you're uploading often, you just have more practice. And the fact of the matter is, what I'll add to this is a lot of times creators are like, I made this video, this other creator made this video, they have all these views and I don't. And if you're going to measure like that, fantastic. But for the love of God, be fair. And if you're going to measure fair. And go back to the channel and go back to the first video they published and look at when it was published and scroll through all the videos they published and make sure you put that into your data analysis so you understand that they have a lot more practice. than you do, and they've probably got more proficient, and there's been more time for the algorithm to connect the audience and so on. So
that's great. What is your number one tip for creators working to grow their YouTube channel?
Decide it shall be. Let go of hoping to grow a channel. Let go of wanting to grow a channel. Be willing to really focus on specific goals. So when I started, I set a goal of 10,000 subscribers in a year. I think I hit 10,004 or 500 in a year. It was close. It was nerve-wracking. By month 3, I was like, the numbers don't add up. At this rate of growth, I will not hit it. But I didn't stop. And I think so many people, like, they come to it with like, well, I'm going to see what this is like. And that's cool. Like, if you want to just play and see, but when you really want to grow, just decide you're going to grow, stake your claim, move forward, and then make that happen. And when you have that mindset change of this is going to work, and I am going to figure it out, and I'm going to do what it's going to take. Yeah, it's just a video. It's like if we were brain surgeons, now that would be a problem, right? Yes. There could be someone like flopping on the table. That would be real awkward. Yeah. But it's just, that's another thing to remember is like we're just playing around with video. It's not, super, I mean, that's how I feel about it. I'm serious about what I do, but I don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, that's great. And then what is your number one filming tip?
Lighting. Lighting is overlooked.
I would agree with that. Is there anything specific about lighting? Or
it's sexy and beautiful. You ever look at a friend or your wife and say, boy, that sunset is beautiful?
Yeah.
You can have that same thing in your studio. You just have to learn lighting, which, again, that's another skill. And I think there's something really cool about creating a scene in your living room or in your filming space, in your basement like I did. And I started out with a white screen, and I filmed maybe a white background, kind of the old Apple look from years ago, and that was great. Like, that worked out fine, and then I got bored with it, and I remember just tearing it down and like want to do something new, and I started with RGB lights. So when you think about lighting, there are really several elements to it. One is the key light, which is, so right now I would be the talent. It's literally called the talent. Right. And you want to illuminate the talent, but then you can also light up what's behind the talent in order to create kind of a pleasing look. And when you, again, this kind of goes back again to graphic design, but anytime you're looking at an image, which we're creating with movies, they're just moving images, you want to think about balance, and by thinking of rules of thirds, you can create balance. Like right now, I'm probably in the center of the frame in this camera, or maybe I'm a little to the left or right. And I'll do all of those things when I film in my studio. I usually stand. I like to stand, and I'll take a step to the right, take a step to the left. I'll have text drop down. I'll zoom in. I'll lean in. So all of these things, again, with just playing with the lighting behind you, the backdrop, playing with the key lighting, and this is again something that there are so many videos on YouTube. And here's what's really interesting: when you decide you're going to continue to move forward, and you keep working at it. You don't have to like totally master the thing, like I'm going to figure this out in a day, and you probably won't. But if you kind of keep thinking about it and it's in the back of your mind, and you see another video and watch half of it because nobody watches all videos, you pick it up and you keep getting better. So
you can learn more about Brian G. Johnson by checking out his channel at the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you're going to love watching the video on screen right now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.